Hey folks, this is Donnie, Standing Goats Rescue. I'm sitting in my truck right now. It's not freezing, but it's cold or cool, cooler than what it's been. I don't know what it is right now. I'm checking the temperature. It's 45 right now. And as most of you know, I've had a severe tooth infection, abscess. It had my face all swollen up and hurt my neck. It's been one of them things. Tooth infection is gone. Everything's back to normal there. My neck, it's feeling better. I just have to be really careful with what I'm doing. It gets irritated really easily, and I'm not sure what I've done. It's almost feeling like I broke a screw or maybe chipped a vertebrae again. I don't know what I've done. I've done something. But anyhow, I've been hunting since I've been able to get out. The last 3 days or 4 days, 3 days. Day before yesterday, I was going out to an area where I hunt at because we don't have a lot of time left before season closes. And we don't have any meat. I haven't gotten anything. And so I've been hunting when I can. We got to get meat in the freezer to get us through the year. And our season closes, I think it's the 20th of February. It's the 13th for the public land where I'm hunting. The lease is the 20th, and the section that I have on the lease, we don't have a lot of deer. We've got them, but they're small. I'm not going to shoot a baby deer, and I'm not going to shoot the does. But 2 days ago, I was going to my stand. The humidity was really high. It was 32 degrees that morning, and I was struggling to breathe going to my stand. And you guys know that I have lung disease, and I've got asthma. I keep an inhaler in my pocket for when my asthma flares up, or I have one of them breathing attacks, I don't know what you call them. And I haven't used my inhaler in a long time. I keep it in my pocket every day, 7 days a week until I go to bed. I always have it with me. For those of you that have lung issues, you know what it's like when you can't breathe. For those that don't, if you've got healthy lungs, and God bless you, that's wonderful. But take a coffee, one of them little straws and stir sticks that you get at the convenience store you stir your coffee with, put in your mouth, hold your nose, and just 2 minutes, try to breathe normally through that straw. You'll start to panic, your heart start to race. You can't get enough oxygen, and that's exactly what it's like when you have a lung flare-up. But anyhow, I grabbed my inhaler out of my pocket, blew the dust and lint and all the garbage out of it, and I took one puff. I'm supposed to do 2 puffs 6 times a day. I don't. I don't like medication. I only take it when I absolutely have to. And that one puff, it just it stung a little on the inside. Hang on just a second. Sorry about that. Anyhow, the labels wore off on my inhaler, so I can't read the expiration date. And I know it's old. It's over a year old. But I think that it expired, and it really aggravated my lungs. Yesterday I started, when you get a cold and you feel that that irritation in your lungs, and you start these coughing fits. That started yesterday, and I know exactly what it is. It's from that inhaler. And today I'm coughing a lot. I'm coughing garbage up. And that's the reason I had to stop the recording. I had to open the door and expel some junk out of my mouth. But anyhow, I had, I think, 5 hours and 20 something minutes of video to put together to edit. It was 6 or 7 different short videos, being in the woods, hunting. I seen a lot of deer. I got a lot of good footage. I got a spike. That's a buck that has one horn on each side, and they look like spikes. And he was what we call a cow horn spike. That's where the spikes are really long. And his spikes were probably 14 inches long. They were super long. I had 5 does come in front of me, and there was one nanny doe. There was 2 does that were older. They were mature does, and then the rest were yearlings, were young. This spike could not figure out which one was in season. It was in heat, and it was the nanny doe, the oldest one. They were in front of me, and they were running this big circle about 300 yards, and they would run and they would stop, and that spike had his nose to the ground. He's running up there, and he'd catch up to one of the little ones, and he'd smell its backside, and that one would take off, and that would make the rest of them take off. And then he's smelling the ground, trying to figure out which doe was in season so he could breed her. And them does are not ready to be bred yet. And they run circles, and I videoed it, and it was so awesome to see. And they got pretty close. I did take some pictures with my phone, but I was filming with a GoPro. I had a lot of good footage of that. Yesterday I went out, hunted about 500 yards from the same spot, and I seen around 30 deer. They were all around me. It was so pretty. I love watching them. And I didn't shoot anything. I videoed it. I filmed. I had a group of 7, a group of 5. There were 3 in one little group, and then there's a group of 6, and they were just deer all around me. I'd have 5 deer behind me, I have 3 out there in front of me, and I was in the woods. I was in the pines, planted pine trees, and they were just everywhere. And I've never seen that many deer in one sitting. And I went to 2 batteries on the camera. My GoPro's been acting up. I mounted on the scope to my muzzleloader, and I can't get the memory card out of it now. I have to take the battery out and I've got a really small pick, and I have to kind of lift the memory card up with the pick and kind of pull it out. Yesterday I put it in the computer because my card reader ain't working right, my new one. I put it in the computer, and it showed it was a 30 megabyte card, but it didn't have a name. It was a no name directory. That's a 128 gigabyte card. I paid $79 for that card. Well, I put it in the card reader. It wouldn't read it. I put it back in the GoPro. Long story short, I lost all that footage. I lost everything. And I had enough. I was fixing to start doing my videos. 5 hours, and I think it was 5 hours and 24 minutes in video. I'll stand by. I'm sorry, guys. I keep having these coughing fits. Oh. Anyhow, I lost all my footage, and it wasn't all just hunting videos. I had some pretty wild stuff structures that I found. I had tree knocking going. I was in a tree, and it was behind me. And there was 3 or 4 knocks on the wood. And I got to listen to me as I was sitting in the tree. It was off my right shoulder, kind of at an angle behind me. I couldn't turn enough, to see, because I have to turn it the way. So I can turn my head a little bit, but I could not turn to see. And it was pretty close to me. It sounded to be about 70 yards, and that's too close for me. But then I had I don't even know how to describe the sound. It was a whistle, but it was like a bloop after it. Like it whistle and make a whoop, a bloop. Sound like a bloop. I can't imitate it, but it was really weird. It was a very, very strange sound. The knock was coming from back here. That whistle blooping thing was coming like from straight to my right side, and I could see that way pretty good. And about 100 yards, I guess 90 to 100 yards, it was a swamp, and it was really, really thick where that swamp is, and that's where that sound was coming from. But then things were hitting the ground around me, and there wasn't nothing overhead. I was on a pine tree. But they were hitting out. Some of them were like directly under me, near the base of the tree. Some were out 10 feet from me. Some of them hit on the other side. And I seen them when they bounced. A few, not all of them, but 3 maybe. It had hit, and it was far enough out that I looked down and I seen it bounce. But when I got out of the tree, I was too nervous to even go and see what it was. I went ahead and quit hunting early. I was in a climbing type tree stand. It's a 2-part. I climbed down the tree. I disconnected it from the tree. And I tied them together, put the strap on them, put them on my back, and I left. I just got out of there. But I had that on film. I showed another tree that was pushed over. The roots were out of the ground, and it was rested on. There's a tree that I guess a storm broke or something. It was dead. It was rotted, but it was, oh geez, I don't know, big as a 5-gallon bucket in diameter or bigger, and it was broke about 3 foot up. And the tree, the top was laid there with it, right next to it. This other tree was pushed over, and the roots were out of the ground, like pulled up. But it was set on top of that stump. It was just really weird. There's no way it would have blown and not pulled the roots out of the ground and then land on top of the tree. And that tree was probably that big around. It would have been easy to pull up with a vehicle, a truck or a car, but there's no way you were going to get a truck or a car back there where it was at. It was way out. You had to go through a swamp. A pretty nasty swamp, and you come up on a ridge, and then there's like a slough about thigh deep, and I had to cross that. I had my waders on. Once you cross that, and you get up on a big ridge about 30 or 40 yards wide. I don't know how long it was. It went a long way. It was out in the river swamp, and I was on that ridge, and that's where it was at. I went to it. I found it. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I found that ridge, that spot, and I marked a tree to where I was going to come back and put my tree stand on it. And I went back twice. I couldn't find it. And then I went last week to find me another spot, and I had my stand with me, and I found my ribbon again. And so I went ahead and put a tree up, my climber on that tree, and I went up. When I come down, I only hunted about 3 hours. I didn't see anything. I didn't get anything. When I come down is when I noticed that stump is like 30 or 40 feet from the tree. And where that stump was, there's another tree, a sweet gum tree, that was probably 50 foot tall, but it had about a 15-foot straight spot that I could have put my climber on. I could have climbed up to about 15 foot on it, which isn't high enough for my likings. I like to be higher, to where I'm out of the deer's panoramic field of view. But I marked that tree also, just in case, because it was in a prime spot. There's game trails all around right there. And so the dead tree, the pine tree that was broke off, I had to step under that to get to that sweet gum tree. And there was no tree uprooted laying on top of it whenever I first found it. But it was when I came across it the second time. But anyhow, I had a lot of stuff on video and I lost it all. The GoPro, I got to get the SD card slot. I got to get it fixed. I don't know who works on those. About 90% of the footage that we post on here is filmed by the GoPro. Filming on my phone has gotten really hard because I get so many phone calls and text messages, and I get interrupted regularly. I have to silence my phone when I'm hunting, and I hate to do that in case something happens at home, because it's nonstop. Soliciting calls and just a lot of useless calls. But for now, I'm probably gonna have to start filming with my phone again until I can figure out. I gotta learn how to edit on the computer. The editor, I downloaded a free video editor, and it's easy to use, but there's limitations. I can't really do much editing on it. I can splice clips together, I can cut clips, I can do a little bit of editing on the timeline, not much. I can rearrange the clips in different order, and I can add text to sections, but I can't do titles the way I like to do my titles. I can't. There's just so much I cannot do on it, and I'm gonna end up having to buy a video editor for it, and I can't do that right now. I gotta figure out the camera situation. I got my GoPro. Brother Jeff he gave me the GoPro 8 Christmas one year, and I love it. I use it almost every time I go out. I use it. That is working flawlessly. But most of the footage you see, I'm filming with 2 GoPros. I'm getting different angles with the 2 different GoPros, and I have one. The GoPro 9 is set on low light for early morning, late afternoon, or when it's real overcast, and the 8 I have set for bright light. And I film in different modes. If I'm using the 8 to film like going into an area, I put it on widescreen where you guys can see more of my surroundings. I'll have that on the 8, and then the 9 I'll put it on linear mode, which is more of a like my field of view when I'm walking. That's like what you're seeing. So I got to figure out. There's an app, or it's a company, a bank called Affirm, AFFIRM, and through Affirm, even with bad credit or fair credit, good credit, it don't matter which credit is, you can apply on Affirm, and they will tell you how much that they will let you finance through them. And I've purchased stuff through Affirm before, and I really like it. They make their interest. They're going to make their money back, but the interest is not high on it, and you can pretty much set it to the how much you want to pay, how long you want to pay, you can pretty much control everything. And so I've used Affirm twice. My drone, that's how I got it, through Affirm. And I got extra batteries. I got the bundle with all the extra stuff, the carrying case, and it was almost $700, and my payments were $67 a month. And that's the reason I used Affirm. I could afford it. The interest was far cheaper than a credit card. And I'm debating on getting another GoPro, and I looked at getting the 9 again, and so I can send this one off to GoPro to have it fixed, and I won't be out of a camera. But the GoPro 9 right now, they got the 10 out, the new model, and it's basically the GoPro 9 from what I can tell. It's got a little faster processor, and there's nothing wrong with the older GoPros the way they work. But the 9 and the 10 are the only ones that has the front screen where you can see yourself if you're filming like I'm doing right now. And so it would have to be the 9 or the 10. I have a GoPro subscription. It's a $49 subscription, and if you have that, you go to GoPro.com, you sign in, and where the batteries are normally $19, you get them for like $12 or something. You get a really, really substantial discount. The GoPro 10, since I have a subscription with GoPro, the 9 is $399, I think $349. The GoPro 10 is $399, and I can get 2 batteries, a memory card. But that's with the subscription. Without it, it's $529. And so I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do. I can't outright buy it. I just don't have it. And we've had to use the credit card so much lately. I don't have that much on one credit card. I'd have to split it up on multiple cards. And we're winging it. Christmas time, we really went overboard, to give Rosie a good Christmas. And that hit us pretty good. We got set back pretty hard. But anyhow, I'm trying to get the camera thing going, get it fixed, and get some more footage, because as soon as hunting season's over, then I can get back in these areas where I normally film at. I can't right now because they're dog hunt areas, dog leases. And when hunting season comes in, these dog hunters go in and they pretty much pay for that area. And if you're caught out there, they will fine you. You'll get a pretty stiff ticket for being there if you are not on the dog lease with the Florida Wildlife Conservation, the game wardens. If you're not on that lease and you're not supposed to be there, it can get bad. They can put you in jail. They can tow your vehicle. If you have a firearm, it's a felony charge. As soon as hunting season's over, you can go wherever you want. But right now, I gotta wait. But as soon as that happens, I'm gonna be out in those areas. I'll be filming again. I don't want to try to film on the phone because there's too many interruptions. Phone calls, emails, texts, it's nonstop, and it does interfere with filming. But I have my wife and Rosie here and our animals, and I can't put my phone on airplane mode if I'm going to be filming for half a day. If something happens, they can't get a hold of me. So it's kind of a catch-22. I've got to get a camera that I can use. I've got an old Nikon. It's like this big. It's an old one, and it's just way too heavy. I can't film with that. I have to carry a tripod with me, and the GoPro, the stabilization is so good on it. All you need is I don't have my little stick in here, but it's just a little camera stick, and you twist it and it'll extend out like 30 inches or something. And so you can put it way out in front of you if you're filming yourself, or you're filming behind you. You can hold it out and see what's happening behind you. But that's where we're at. I may end up trying to do a show tonight. I don't want to end up having a coughing fit and keep having to mute, turn off my mic and camera to cough this junk up. I've got garbage in my lungs now from using what I believe was an expired inhaler. I've got a new one that I haven't opened yet. I got 3 or 4. But I'm going to wait until this mess gets out of my lungs before I try to use it, because I don't want to irritate it any worse. It's aggravating the tar out of me. And I apologize for being gone, for the absence. I'm quite aggravated over losing all that footage. I had some really good stuff on there, some really things that you guys would find, I believe y'all would find very interesting. And the videos of the deer were just, I had such a good time. I enjoyed it. It was so pretty seeing them. I did film a little bit of the deer on my phone. I was texting Chris. He was hunting out there too, and I was texting him, letting him know I had these does all around me and this little buck. And so I was filming a clip to send to him to show him what was around me at the time. But I've got that clip. I may add it. I may put it in. Excuse me. Where you guys can see it. I may put a little bit of it in. It was pretty, but when I started doing that, the buck, they had him so wore out. His head was down. His tongue was hanging out like a dog when a dog's panting. And his head was hung way low, and finally he just walked off. They wore him out, running them circles. They would run and stop until he caught up to them. And then once he caught up and started smelling, they'd take off running, but then he'd be running around smelling the area right there where they were at. Then he'd take off and track them down again. And all they were doing was this big oval circle out in front of me, and it was neat to watch. You know, the natural process of the wildlife. I love it. But y'all have a good day. God bless you. I love each and every one of you. And I will most definitely be seeing you very soon. Brother Don has sent us some more articles. We got some other stuff. We still got quite a few to share with you that I haven't done yet. But that's coming. That'll be soon. But I'm gonna go inside. It's cold. I've had the truck off for a little bit, and it's supposed to get down, I think, 30 tonight. But we got some cold weather coming this next Thursday or Friday, so it's be in the 20s, and our high would be in 45 to 49. It's the high for, I think, Friday and Saturday. And then it'll be 50 for Sunday and Monday. Y'all have a good day. God bless you. Take care of yourself and always be safe.